been 10 years since the passing of Heathcliff, and mine and my family's lives could not have been better here at the Grange. Hareton has been a wonderful husband and father. He has grown from the stable boy I first met. He is a strong, educated man that heads the household well. His reading has drastically improved. We read to our children every night before bed. Kat, our daughter, is 9. Nellie tells me she reminds her of my mother. She's fiercely protective and has an adventurous spirit about her. She's a very bright girl and has quite a resourceful manner. Heath, on the other hand, is quite dependent on his sister. He is 5 and looks up to her with such admiration. He has trouble reading like his father. He says that the letters get all mixed up in his brain, but we work with him daily because his studies are most important. My children are quite athletic as well. Kat horseback rides like her father. She's quite good, but at times her ego gets the best of her. Hareton works with her on that, but she is Daddy's little princess and has him wrapped around her finger. Heath is somewhat of a prodigy at cricket. He seems to have picked it up out of the blue. Unlike his sister, he does not have an issue with his ego. He is the opposite of presumptuous. His humble manners portrayed through all aspects of his life. Recently, he has taken a liking to birds. He even brought one home one time. He insisted on keeping it until its wing had healed. He is quite the moral compass for a 5-year-old. I love my 2 children and enjoy watching them grow up. They love to roam about the Grange, as I did as a girl. They bombard me with questions about the house on Wuthering Heights. When we pass it on our Sunday stroll, I tell them there's nothing there for them. As for Hareton and I, it is nothing but a distant memory. However, our lives here at the Grange leave us content in not wanting to go back to Wuthering Heights.
Since the death of Heathcliff, and everything has changed. Kathy and I fell even more in love, and not too long after Heathcliff's grip on me vanished, I asked her to marry me. I was pretty nervous about her answer, because she's perfect and I don't come close to being good enough for her. Miraculously, she said yes, and so we had a small ceremony. I say small because there were about 5 people in attendance due to the fact that both of our families are pretty much dead. In true manly fashion, I gave Kathy the reins and allowed her to plan the whole wedding, which worked out for both of us. She was content with controlling everything, and I was more than happy to sit back and watch. Shortly after our wedding, we moved back to the Grange, leaving Wuthering Heights in our memory. We have 2 children now, Kat, our daughter, who is 9, and Heath, our son, who is 5. I have made it my mission to raise them with the kindness and patience that I missed out on growing up under Heathcliff. There is no greater joy than watching your children become the people that you had hoped they would be. Kat is only 9, but she acts like she has lived 100 lifetimes. She is adventurous and brave, and she is extremely protective of Heath. She enjoys riding horses, something that I'd like to think was my doing. I have to say that her ego is a bit bigger than it should be, but I'm working on it with her. Heath, on the other hand, is the complete opposite of his sister. He is gentle, kind, and a little helpless. He takes pride in helping animals that have been injured, and even though he is only 5, Kathy thinks that he will become a quite generous man. Heath looks up to Kat like she is a superhero, and she lives up to his vision, keeping the bad guys away from him and looking after him. Heath has taken a liking to cricket, and I see potential in it. I am truly proud of my children, and I am excited to see what happens in the future. My life, although it started off troubled, has become everything that I had hoped. I'm surrounded by people I love, and I get to live how I want. Wuthering Heights and all of the nightmares that go with it flash in my mind frequently. But I look at my beautiful wife and my wonderful children, and I realize that I have beaten Heathcliff, and that is all that I need to move past the terror of Wuthering Heights.
Wuthering Heights has become a desolate ghost town ever since the death of Mr. Heathcliff those 10 years ago. I haven't been back in years, but it all seems like a distant dream to me. Thrushcross Grange, however, is bustling with busyness and life. Kathy and Hareton were married shortly after the death of Mr. Heathcliff. They had an absolutely gorgeous ceremony here at the Grange. It was quiet and small, seeing as most of their family has passed away, but elegant nonetheless. The love in the air was tainted with a magical breeze. Seeing the unity of the Linton and Earnshaw families free from any ulterior motives and obligations is purely beautiful. Kathy and Hareton are parents of 2 adventurous, free-spirited children. Kat is 9 years old, and she captures the true essence of what it means to be independent. She spends countless hours outside, roaming free and playing with her younger brother. She really looks after him nicely and doesn't let anyone pick on her baby brother. Just the other day, they were playing in a field of daisies when some rascal was making fun of her brother's clothes. She marched right up to the kid with a fearless twinkle about her eye and punched him clear in the nose. She's a feisty little thing, but she loves her family and will not tolerate anyone picking on her brother. Heath just turned 5 a few weeks ago, and with every passing day he becomes more and more like his father. He has Hareton's ruggedness and mild temperament, and he is strong and loyal to the core. He loves helping out his daddy whenever he can. These beautiful children make my job such a joy. They are polite and respectful, and they actually know how to clean up after themselves. In all my years of service to these families, I have never experienced so much happiness. While they occasionally have their bouts of sibling rivalry, they always make up real quick. I, Nellie Dean, am truly honored to be part of such a wonderful, remarkable, and loving family. It's such a pleasant change of pace from all of those tiring years sorting out family feuding drama between Wuthering Heights and Thrushcross Grange. I just can't believe how far we've come since the day when Heathcliff and Catherine passed away.